I am a little bit different. I know this, guys. I'm aware of this. But I really treat with unbridled passion, with respect. I treat my role as a leader with honor. And so when I coach people, when I coach teams, when I coach my family, when I coach my fitness community, when I coach you guys on these videos, I do so from the standpoint of a belief that we are a family. We're a human race. We are a football team. We're a family. We are a family of those who want to be great physically and in our health. And so I approach it that way. And what I teach my people, what I teach my team, what I teach my family is that in order to be a family, I have to be willing and able to give fully of myself if I expect you to do the same. So if we are in a football training session and we are all grinding and pushing and doing sprints or doing a lift or doing something that requires that we dig down deep into our soul and our spirit to be the best version of us, I hope and I expect that you would do the same for me. And so part of when I get passionate and even sometimes borderline angry is from that standpoint, that I want us all to be in the fight together. I want us all to be in the foxhole together. I want to give of myself knowing that you are doing the same of yourself for me as I am for you. So that's where I approach many of what I teach, much of what I teach. Now, from the standpoint of growth, from the standpoint of BTY, of better than yesterday, of growing, we grow on that rep of life, on that rep of lifting, on that rep of conditioning. We grow on the one that hurts the most. We grow on the rep that we think we can't do. We grow on the rep on which we want to quit. That's where growth lies. So if you're doing 10 reps of something, reps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 probably don't mean anything. It is not until the 8th rep, the 9th rep, the 10th rep that you want to quit where growth lies. And that's where I want us all in our families of life, in our families of our families, in our work families, in our fitness communities, on our teams, football, basketball, lacrosse, field hockey, soccer. I want us all to understand that for all of us to grow as a family, we must all work in earnest on that 8th, 9th, and 10th rep. That's where growth lies. That's where biceps get built. That's where lung capacity gets built. That's where legs get built. But most importantly, guys, that's where the ability to fight through pain gets built. I call it the I'm not going to quit muscle. And I've done several videos on it. The I'm not going to quit muscle, the I ain't gonna quit muscle can only be built at the rep you wanna quit. That muscle where you build the ability to say, you know what, I know it hurts, I'm gonna fight through it, whatever it is. Football, basketball, lifting, running, life. That muscle can only be built in scenarios, situations, confrontations when you wanna quit. And so I speak with passion from that standpoint because I try to put myself, especially physically, in that zone of pain as often as possible. And that's why over the years, over the decades, I've been able and fortunate to be able to build a physique and athletic ability that I'm proud of. But it's by no secret, it's by no special sauce that I have other than my desire, my ability, and my willingness to give fully of myself in that 7th, 8th, 9th rep. the rep that I want to quit. And so I want you guys to understand that, right? Those who have my classes, those kids who I coach, when I talk about getting through that moment, it's not from a standpoint of just some rhetoric, some verbiage, some coach speak. I speak from the standpoint of being passionate about what I know it takes to be great. So I want you guys to keep that in mind as you fight through things. It's not the same to go back. Many of my kids I coach, will do sprints and they'll stop on the 7th sprint. And then they'll come back later and say, I'm finishing up. It's not the same. Because the moment you were able to build that muscle, the I'm not going to quit muscle can only be grown, can only be built in that moment you want to quit. Right? My fitness boot campers, right? They'll do 7 burpees and then they'll stop. And then come back and they'll finish off the last 3. And I get into them because I know they can do 10. Right? The same way I can do 20. Right? I get tired around 15, but my standard is 20. So I want them to have a standard of 10. And so at 7, when they get tired, I want that standard to kick in. And you begin to build that muscle of I'm not going to quit. So I want you guys to keep that in mind, all right? As you go through life, as you go through these things you're trying to get better at, you're trying to grow at, you're trying to be the best version of you at, there will be moments. There needs to be moments. There must be moments. It's required where you want to quit, you want to give up. But those are the moments that are necessary to be great. So embrace them. Challenge them. Push through them. Get mad if you want. Yell if you want. Cry if you want. But by no means are we going to turn around and run home. Because in those reps where you want to quit is where the muscle of not quitting is developed. Right? So remember this. This is a quote I want you to always remember as you're fighting through pain, as you're going through the journey chasing your greatness. Remember this quote and keep it stuck in your mind. The I'm not going to quit muscle in your life can only be developed in the moments you want to quit.